welcome to this podcast, TAC Talk Shorts. My name is Mel Hartley from the Training Accreditation Council, or TAC, and today we are going to have a short talk about retaining assessment evidence. Before I do, I wish to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land we are recording on, the Whadjuk people. We wish to acknowledge and respect their continuing culture and the contribution they make to the life of this city and this region. Now, diving straight into it, all businesses operating in Australia have obligations for managing information under the Privacy Act and also the Freedom of Information Act as a minimum. Many organisations, including RTOs, also have record-keeping obligations under other legislation and regulations. The nature of those obligations is dependent upon the industry area in which the RTO operates, whether the RTO is a public or private organisation, whether RTO is a for-profit or not-for-profit organisation, the RTO's client group, and there are many other factors. However, today we are just going to focus on what assessment evidence an RTO needs to retain. Assessment is the process of collecting evidence and making judgments on whether competency has been achieved, and decisions about a student's competency must be based on evidence that meets the rules of evidence. As an RTO, you are constantly gathering evidence about student performance, and it is easy to find that you become overwhelmed by evidence overload. Now, there are a number of levels of evidence to consider, such as number one, the evidence sources, such as knowledge tests, observation tools, tasks, projects. Number two is the assessment evidence, such as test answers, recorded performances, products, record books, observation checklists, and assessment summaries. Number three is the assessment judgment, such as competent or not yet competent. And finally, we have appeals and outcomes. The most unmanageable evidence is the actual evidence observed, which is made up of the completed tests, assignments, videos, products, actions, and services. Some of this evidence is bulky, others are transient or perishable. So how much of this evidence of student work should an RTO retain? The answer is, an RTO must keep this evidence during the delivery of the training product to the point where the decision is made, and then beyond the point where an appeal might be lodged. An RTO will also need to keep a selection of records for internal or external audits and for assessment validation activities. It is recommended that all records retained by RTO should be kept secure. Confidential information should be safeguarded to avoid exposure, damage, or destruction by theft, fire, flood, vermin, or even pests. Records can be kept in their original form, scanned, or digitised. Any electronic records, however, should be backed up regularly. There are times that RTOs are required to keep training and assessment records related to funding contracts or other legislative requirements, and these differ by industry, and it's the RTO's responsibility to ensure that they keep any additional records that may be required. As always, please check the standards for RTOs for more information on this topic. However, a number of additional resources are available on the TAC website, wa.gov.au/TAC, including the fact sheet on records management and the user's guide to the standards for RTOs. Thank you for listening to this TAC Talk short on retaining assessment evidence.